Hello, welcome to the Big Bad Podcast. I am Janae.
And I'm Brooke, and we're two entrepreneurs jumping headfirst into building a business.
We're marketers and content creators at heart. And in this podcast, we're helping small business owners learn how to play big with their marketing efforts, even on a small business budget.
So if you're ready to make big bad moves in your professional life, this podcast is for you. Welcome to episode 16. How do I get my phone ringing right now?
Bring.
This, there it is. This is a question that we get all the time. Where is that magical lever that I can flip to bring highly qualified leads to my phone, to my email, to my door, to my store right now? And let me put it this way. If I could deliver you a pipeline of highly qualified leads that like you and are ready to buy from you right now, I would be on my private island debating whether I want to go out on my yacht or spend the day on the beach because I would have so much money that I would be fantasizing about all of the ways that I could spend it. This is marketing in a nutshell. How do I get more leads for my business? It is the universal question that drives an entire industry and entire businesses like the one that we operate here at Big Bad Marketing. So this might seem an innocent question. How do I get more calls? The
Where are
answer
my
is
customers?
the answer is people have been trying to figure this out since the dawn of selling things to other people.
hmm And I think a lot of our effort lately has been starting to showcase different avenues that people can take to do exactly that, to get people calling, right? Like, as you're saying, that's what marketing is. So, our general approach is let's take a strategic method to get there so you have consistent, well qualified leads versus this like quick to burn out system where people are like, yeah, I can get you a ton of people. And then none of them convert into actual customers or they fall off very quickly, right? I was reflecting that at the agency life where we were before, we had a lot of customers and then their shelf life was very short because we didn't really do a great job of delivering the thing we promised. So at Big Band Marketing, our method is to get you there with a steady pace of really great people who are going to find you, love you, and want to stay with you forever. But in the meantime, you're like, okay, that's great, but I need people now. So here's where we're going to talk about what to do.
Yes. So to your point, Janae, this is a bigger strategic conversation to have. But when you get to this point of desperation where you're like, if I don't get people in the door right now, there is no long-term strategic vision. So, like, just help me do this thing right now. The number one quickest way to increase your customers is to go to people who have already used you and like you, AKA tapping into your existing customer base. Now, there are different ways to do this, and depending on what your business is, it's going to manifest in different ways. If you sell a physical product and it's something that people can come back and buy from you again and again, say you run a t-shirt shop and you want to encourage people to keep buying from you. Maybe you send them an email and say, hey, by the way, have you seen our newest designs? These are the most popular things in our shop. Or, like we mentioned in our episode on email marketing, if you segment your email list according to interests, you can send targeted emails out to those people to say, hey, by the way, did you know that we also have this thing that we think you're going to love? So, leveraging email marketing for products is a really natural fit. Now, similarly, if you have a service-based business or maybe perhaps a product that isn't something people buy incredibly frequently, you can use that email list to reach out to those existing customers to drum up sales and say, hey, do you know someone who could benefit from XYZ? And maybe you add in a little limited time deal there and say, if you forward this email to them and they buy with us in the next 7 days, we'll give them 10% off and you get 10% off the next time you use us too. So think about the approach to email marketing as how can I drive behavior of this person that I'm emailing or get them to ask someone else to use my business in a time restricted way that's going to encourage traffic.
That doesn't sound desperate.
Yes, we don't want to be desperate. We can use scarcity, we can use urgency, but we don't want to do it in a cringy kind of a way. So we can encourage people to buy and say things like in the next 7 days, as long as we mean in the next 7 days. And after that point, we're no longer offering this promotion.
Nothing worse than I just got an email like this today that was an email string, like a drip campaign, buy it now, buy it now. It's at a special rate now. And then I didn't buy the thing. And then today I got another email, like unrelated, separate campaign. Here's the price. And it was the same price. There was no change. There was no special offer. It's like, okay, you have to be honest, authentic, and consistent in your messaging.
Yes. So
No
if
tomfoolery.
no tomfoolery, heaven forbid. So if you don't have an established email marketing list, let's kick it old school. Make some outbound phone calls. Call existing customers, see if they're ready to come back in. So I just got a phone call yesterday from the place where I get my hair cut saying, "Hey, we noticed it's been 8 weeks since your last appointment. Do you want to go ahead and schedule your next one with this particular stylist that you used?" And so if they looked back in time, they would know that I only get my hair cut once a year. So I am not who they're going for.
I was
But
going to say, did it work? Did you schedule?
no, I did not schedule. I thought you're about 10 months too early for me to come back and get a haircut. But either way, that was an outbound call campaign on their part. And that probably did result in a few people making appointments for whatever reason. Maybe they forgot to schedule it the last time they were in, or maybe they've had some sort of, hair drama happen. I don't know. Maybe it's something that brings them in earlier.
What I love about this, whether it's on phones or emails, is it's proactive, right? Like instead of kind of sitting around and waiting for people to walk into your store and buy things, you're like fishing. You're like, hey, we're doing this really cool thing. We have a sale on our donuts. Come and get them today. Or you're calling them and you're like, I noticed that you haven't come in recently for donuts, and you usually come all the time for donuts, right? It's instead of kind of twiddling your thumbs, you're stirring the metaphorical pot and you're asking the people, you're reminding them that you are there, you're looking alive, and you're like, come on down.
Yes, and we love that. And
Mm-hmm.
this type of outreach can be super effective because, again, by tapping into the existing customer base, these people already know you and like you, and you have a way better chance of opening the door to a conversation and a potential conversion with these folks. So,
Sure. Oh, and this method you just described of like they waited 8 weeks and then they called you, like the dentist does that to me, the car wash place does that to me. Like this is a pretty common method of marketing. Like you wait until a certain amount of time has lapsed. I think I mentioned one time I got one from the water filter company emailed me like, we know it's time. And that's automated marketing. You can make that so easy for yourself in a customer management system, CMS. We're going on with the acronyms today, but it's a way to set it up so you don't even have to do the dirty work or the heavy lifting, right? You just tell your CMS every time someone's gone this many weeks, this many days, whatever, without making a purchase, triggers this set of emails to them or this phone call or this automated SMS message, which is how my dentist reaches me, like an automatic message, text message to my cell phone. So you can make this process really easy for you. If you have an existing customer base, you're ready to go.
yes, and we love that. We love the automated, make it easy on yourself, make it straightforward, make it simple.
Get
So
your
if
time back.
Yes, absolutely. Time is the most important thing you have. And if you don't have a list of emails or phone numbers to go off of, but you have a following on social media, then tap that social media audience. Make an offer to them that encourages them to take action quickly. So if you are a personal trainer who needs to get people in the door, maybe you say, "Hey, if you sign up with me by the end of this month, you'll get 3 sessions for the price of two." Make an offer
Hmm.
that is going to be appealing to someone. And then you can, again, using the concepts of scarcity and urgency, sign up by the end of the month, and maybe only 3 people are going to get this offer. So sign up quickly.
Yes. Okay. And what I think about this one that's really interesting is that Unlike email or phone calls, which do require that you already have an active, well hygiene maintained list of people to call, social media, I think, can work even if you don't already have that following focused on you through paid ads, right? There is a way to reach a very specific audience. And as you dive into the world of paid ads, which is just a whole other rabbit hole we will eventually get to, but you get to select the demographics, the location, the quality of the leads that you are looking for. So even if you are starting from nothing right now and you don't have a social following, you can find those people for your fitness program, for your special offer, and send it out into the voices of Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and get your people and still encourage them to act quickly and sign up today. Get your phone ringing.
Yes. And as you do those paid ads, keep in mind you'll set a budget for that. So budget according to what you're willing to spend. And if you're looking for a lot of leads and not a lot of time, it might cost you. So just be cognizant of that as you go into the paid advertising route. So another thing that you can do is, again, tapping into your network of existing clients, send a referral request to those clients. So this could be particularly effective if you run, say, a home services business and you have just done roof on someone's house and you reach out to that person and say, hey, did you know about our referral rewards program? If you send us someone who buys a new roof by X date, we'll send you $100 Amazon gift card. Send this to three friends. Just, oh yeah, everybody loves an Amazon gift card. That is one of my go-to referral rewards because I'm like, if you don't shop on Amazon, who are you even? So with the referral request, you are trying to incentivize your people who know and like you to get you more people that may, with the vouch from a friend, also know and like you. You can also ask these people for, in addition to a referral, a testimonial. You can ask for
Mm.
a review on your Google business profile. Ask them for things that are going to boost your presence and your credibility and encourage more people to find you later.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, I think depending on your business and your particular situation, it's also okay to be very transparent and authentic with your community. So, more specifically, if you have a business that creates a sense of community. So people interact with you specifically, or the people in your shop or your team in a direct way, or with each other. There is that strong sense of community, and you can bolster that through your requests. Like, let's build this community together, and I need your help. And we are a team of people that are doing this together, not just me over here. And that helps create this sense of honesty instead of desperation when you're like, give us a referral, right? It's like, hey, we want to build this to make it a better experience for you. So let other great people that you know, like we trust you because you're here, like bring in your great people and help them join the squad that we've got going.
Yeah, people love to bring in others on something that they already love. So take advantage of that. People want to talk about things they love. So if you've
Yes.
got that, you're on the right track. Hit up those existing
Mm-hmm.
customers. But if you don't have those existing customers, how do you find new customers fast? So one of the ways that we've already mentioned is targeted advertising campaigns. Now you can run those on search engines like Google. You can run those on social media. If you've never done it before, you can blow a lot of money really quickly, and that might not return to you the qualified leads that you were in search of. But it could be a great way to move like merchandise or other things quickly that need to go. So if you are thinking, yes, targeted advertising campaigns, that's going to be the route I'm going to take, and I'm ready to just drop 5 grand on it and see what happens, I would suggest that you use some of that 5 grand to hire a professional who does this for a living that is going to be able to get you the most bang for your advertising buck. Otherwise, you are just tossing it out into the ether and with a hope and a prayer to see what comes back.
Yeah. So it does bring up a very interesting point here. And I know I touched on this before, but here at Big Bad Marketing, our plan for our clients is to help them build sustainable clientele and a sustainable business. So some of these ploys, like, yes, they could maybe bring you customers quickly. It might come at the cost of a pretty penny to do it, but we don't know anything about the quality of these leads, not necessarily. So if you are going to take one of these quick and dirty approaches, as we call them in the business, that's great. And it can be very effective. But our suggestion is to do it in tandem with a long term strategy and a really well thought out plan so that while you're getting some quick people in the door, you're also setting yourself up for a longer term success.
Yes, and we'll cover those off in a few minutes about what you can be doing for that long-term success, because that is so important. And even if you are tapping your existing customers or using one of these methods to get new customers quickly, there should still be work going on behind the scenes to ensure that you're not in the same place 6 months from now.
Still trying desperately to get people in the door.
Exactly.
Oof.
So, speaking of kicking it old school, you can also go boots on the ground. You can show up in person at places. So if you are a personal trainer and you're starting a boot camp in a local park, you can walk into the local businesses that are near that park, the ones where your ideal audience may be spending their days working or having lunch or shopping. And you can drop some collateral like a business card. Shout out to episode 3 on how to have an amazing business card. And talk to people, see if they're interested in joining and drum up business that way. Similarly, if you sell a physical product and you know where your buyers are, show up. Rarely do people show up in person anymore, so this can actually be a really surprising way to get someone's attention and to spark a conversation that could turn into something.
This reminds me, I had mentioned this before, but I was walking my dog, and this nice lady comes around the corner walking her dog that I thought it was her dog. And she starts petting my dog and saying some friendly stuff, and then hands me a card and says, "Well, I'm a dog walker. I see you have a very cute dog. And if you ever need, some help, here you go." And it was so refreshing, the authenticity and the well thought out position where she obviously knows that I have a dog and I'm going to sometimes need someone to walk that dog. So it's all about exactly what you're saying, knowing where your customers are and then going to them.
Yes. And rarely do people show up unannounced anywhere anymore. Like if you get a knock on the door, you're sort of like, whoa, what's happening here? Is someone actually at my door and they didn't call me or text me to tell me that they were coming to my home?
Or
Like,
that they're standing outside. They didn't even knock
yes,
on the door.
exactly. So this really can be a fun, surprising, interesting thing to do, and it makes you memorable. So even if they
Hmm.
don't buy from you right now, they're likely going to remember you when it comes time to make a decision against your competitors.
Sure. And the wash of digital gobbledygook.
Yes.
Okay, quick question here is what is your opinion on the sign dancers where they're like flipping the sign in the street and there's a big sign to go to your store? What do you think about that?
Incredibly talented people. I've seen some fantastic stuff from sign dancers. It is amazing.
Have you ever been motivated to go to one of these places because of that?
No, no, I haven't, but I do appreciate their dancing abilities, and I do like to watch them. I think I've mostly seen them in front of like mattress stores, which I think is a little interesting because you don't buy a mattress that often, and you tend to like seek out the mattress store when you need it. But
Hmm.
whatever, I get it. I get the intention of it. So, what are your thoughts on the sign spinners? Would that be a marketing effort you might recommend to a small business owner?
It depends. The most recent sign spinner I saw was promoting a pet store, particularly like a puppy store, which for like moral reasons isn't necessarily where I would get a puppy, but also to your exact point, it's just not a purchase that I'm making on a whim. Like, yeah, let's go look at the puppies and then buy a puppy. Right. So I think if you're promoting like your ice cream shop or your pizza store, it might be a little more useful because you capture a person when they're craving pizza, right? Like if they're out there at 5 and 6 o'clock at night and on a busy street, people might be like, yes, I'm so hungry. Let me go get that. But probably those bigger ticket items, not so much.
Yeah. I could see a sign spinner being super effective if they were actually making an offer. I've never really known the offer that they're making. It just always seems like they're just pointing me in a general direction. But imagine if you had like on your sign, real big bold print, two slices for the price of one, and your sign spinner, they do something cool and then they freeze. And then there's the sign. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
I could see that being a
yes,
really sick marketing effort
I
and way to
agree.
get, passerby traffic.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So I think what we're saying here is bring back sign spinning, but make it more effective with a
The
great offer.
CTA. Yes,
Yeah.
that's urgent and scarce, potentially also.
Yes.
Get it while it lasts. Mention this sign spinner.
Absolutely. All right. Cool. Now we're kicking it.
All right.
What do you
So
think
you're fine.
about what do you think about lead generation services?
Oof, makes me feel heavy hearted. Not my go-to. I tend not to recommend this. My sense is that so lead generation services are companies who you tell them the kinds of customers and leads you're looking for. I think typically at a very basic level, they don't even tend to walk through like personas or customer journeys with you or understand your business model. They're just like, sure, I'll give you that. And then they give you a list of people who potentially could be interested in what you're selling. The question is, where are they getting these phone numbers? How warm are these leads? It's questionable. They tend to use questionable methods, just scouring the internet or going to those like non-solicitation type sites, and um, or the other way, which is less cringy but still not necessarily effective, is just scouring the internet. If, for example, if you're a B2B business and you're looking very specifically for dental offices, right? Someone goes on the online and finds just a ton of dental offices and gets their information and puts it on a spreadsheet and hands it to you. Those people aren't warm leads or any more qualified than anyone else. They're just compiled list of people who exist. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so you pay these people to give you the list, and then it tends to be right on back on your lap of what are you going to do now that you have the list. And my experience with this is just it's not really a win. You might get one out of 1,000, one out of 100, which is more than nothing, but not a sustainable approach certainly, and tedious.
Yeah, and to your point, it's not taking really any of the heavy lifting of marketing to these people off you. It's just they're giving you names and contact information. And now it's still on you to figure out, am I going to call them? Am I going to send them emails? What am I going to say to them? So you're still taking the other steps here yourself. And to your point, the sources of these leads can be kind of questionable. So a lead generation service, while they might say, get qualified leads for your roofing business, I'm going to send you people that need roofs. That's really just a guess. They're not actually handing you a warm introduction to Betty Sue down the road who legitimately needs a new roof.
Yes, and this is a very interesting line to walk. As we're talking about it, I'm realizing how it's related to SEO tactics. And I think some of the lead gen services use SEO to determine who has clicked around on what types of sites, what are people searching for, how they know who these people are is the questionable part. But once you start clicking around, you're looking for a new dentist, right? Somehow this lead gen company knows that. And then that's where they're getting the quote unquote qualified lead. They're like, well, this person searched for dentist near me, so they might be qualified for you, and they send it over your way. But exactly as you're saying, like there's not a real human there that knows this person and can say, yeah, they told me that they need a new dentist. And I told them I have a great dentist for them. Right. They're just like finding some weird stuff online, putting some weird data together. And the point is, there are healthy, clean ways to do that same thing that are going to generate real leads. And you're the one who comes up on the search instead of like random websites. They go somewhere else and somehow their name still winds up in your lap.
Yep, agreed. I think there are better paths to take. So be wary of anything that claims to get you a certain number of leads really quickly. Because, like we're trying to say, it's a more long-term strategic approach, and you're going to have to try a couple of things. There's not a single faucet that you go turn on and here come all the leads. That would be amazing. It doesn't
Wah,
exist.
wah.
Womp, womp, womp. So, partnerships. What do we think about potentially partnering with other, complementary businesses?
Love.
Love shared events, shared campaigns, product launches. I run a strength training fitness facility. I know that my members also do yoga. I then go to the yoga studio and say, hey, would you be interested in doing like a 2 times a week yoga, 2 times a week strength training and cross promoting that to our members? That could be something they're really interested in. So, looking for opportunities to leverage those sort of similar, maybe in some ways competing, but definitely always complementary businesses to help get you access to a larger and new audience.
Oh, yeah. You're now multiplying the audience by both of your business's audiences. So now you both have access and you can tap into each other's audience. And what you just said about competition, it's so true. They're always complementary when you're in a competitive space, right? Like that's the nature of how business works. It's like they would complement each other. They're in similar spaces. But I think the competition, it doesn't have to be competitive, right? That's an interpretation. That's a way we're perceiving the situation. But it could also be exactly as we're saying, a partnership and a team, and the same thing that I mentioned before, like a community sense. And I know I've described this before. I was working at a yoga studio and we partnered with this local Pilates studio and we got together and had this whole day at a cool event space. So they got in on it and then the juice bar got in on it and we had this whole event and it was more people signed up for both places. It wasn't like, oh, the yoga people are over here and the Pilates people are over there. Like you expose more people to both things. And then now we have members who are signed up at the yoga studio and at the Pilates studio. It doesn't have to be competition.
Yes, totally agree. So these might take a little bit longer to flesh out and develop and to form those partner relationships, but can totally be worth it to expose yourself to this audience of people who are already more willing to buy from you.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you are in a pinch, you could throw together some networking events, some partnership events, things that are happening even digitally pretty quickly and benefit from this like double audience situation.
Yes, definitely. So, kind of similar to that lead gen topic, cold email outreach. Whew,
Yeah, cold.
generally not effective.
Yes, I think you're at the same return on investment of effort as the lead gens. You know, you might get 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, which business is numbers games, and that's true, but you really have to weigh if this is worth the time, effort, investment that you're making. And most of the time, it's just not.
Yeah. So, what could be worth it, depending on the type of business you have, is hiring someone to do warm outreach. So, I was speaking with a commercial photographer a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying how they had someone who was doing lead generation for them that was researching the types of companies that might be interested in the type of photography that they did, and then finding the right people within those organizations who would be the decision makers for photography. And then introducing themselves, introducing the business, saying, here's the portfolio, have a look, and I'm happy to set up a call. So that is a person who he had hired specifically to go find my people and then get me introductions to those people. So that is something that generally tends to be way more effective and could be something worth pursuing if you have more of that B2B type of audience, or
Mhm.
or a situation where you are trying to target a very specific type of person.
Sure, that's very tailored and specific effort versus what I think this point is like cold, generic, like there's no clear intention behind it. It's a bit out of the blue. That feels very targeted to me, the photography situation. So You, as an entrepreneur, need to weigh these different options out and figure out what's going to make sense for your business. And if you're not sure, reach out to an agency or a business team who can help you figure that out. Shout out Big Bad Marketing. We're here to help. Visit our website, bigbadmarketing.com. But if you're just like, let me email a bunch of random people and see what happens, right? Like that might just not be worth your time.
Yeah.
Um, in cold outreach, though, especially with this sort of unprompted format, still really low on results, but I think one way you can sort of tap into the right audience is through social media and find your competitors. See who's following them. Reach out to those people. You can send them DMs or just follow them and engage with them. It might not be the quickest turnaround time to get the phone ringing or butts in chairs today, right? But like that is a method of slow, steady engagement that could turn people onto your brand over time. You hang out where they are hanging out and you see um, who your, as I just mentioned, like competitors don't have to be competing with you, but like who else they're interacting with in the space and just start talking to them. Those are your people too.
Yep. And on that note, if in the social media realm, thinking about leveraging things like influencers, if you have a, smaller scale influencer who could potentially put your product out there in front of their audience of a couple thousand devoted people, that could be a way to drum up some quick traffic and business. Again, you're going to pay for it. So figure out what your budget is, approach the right types of influencers. But if you connect with the right person that has a really engaged audience, that could be a quick payout for you in terms of increasing your traffic and your signups. Specifically if you sell a physical product, that can be a really quick way to move some stuff to get that sort of stamp of approval from someone that people like and trust.
Mm-hmm. And then a last option here would be to start showing up on some forums or other online marketplaces that are geared towards your industry. So there's some generic ones like you've got like Yelp, and even I think Google My Business is a place where it's sort of generic. If someone's looking for a service you offer, at least you have a profile, you might show up, even if you're doing like zero SEO efforts. But then there's other places like, so for a home services business, you might use Thumbtack or Houzed or Angie's List, and you have a profile on there. Keep in mind, again, they might charge fees to promote your business or your service to the people who are searching for it, but those are places where you can find people, and
Yes.
people, maybe better said, people can find you.
Yes, definitely. So those are sort of the quick fixes for leveraging your existing customer base and finding new customers quickly. Now, we have mentioned throughout this episode the importance of working on a more long-term customer acquisition strategy. So we'll cover some quick points on that as well. The number one thing, in my opinion, that you can be doing today and every day to acquire more customers over time is to satisfy your existing customers. Word of mouth is your most valuable and effective marketing tool. It is completely free. So if you do your job well and you have a team of people that is making people happy and giving them great experiences, that is the quickest way to drum up more business. And there are businesses that sustain for long periods of time solely on word of mouth and referral traffic. So if you do nothing else, if your team does nothing else, have them knock it out of the park for the existing people that are showing up for your business. That will always, always pay dividends down the line.
Yeah, and I think what you're bringing up is so important because many entrepreneurs and small business owners have been doing that, and that's how they have gotten to where they are now. They have a consistent referral system in place and they've got a lot of word of mouth customers. In fact, maybe they've never done any outbound marketing before. And this is who we want to help you if that's where you are. Like you're like, business is good, but it can still be better. And if I started marketing, imagine how much better it could be. So if that's where you're at, reach out to us. We are here to help.
Yes. So, which leads us into number two. One of the ways that we help is through tactics like blogging and developing your website for SEO. So, the benefits of optimizing your website for a search engine like Google is to increase the chances that people will be referred to your website through traffic from that search engine. So, creating a blog with helpful content for your particular audience, if you're a personal trainer, putting content out there about, how to build a 6 week workout plan. Does nutrition really matter if you're killing it in the gym? Give things that your audience is going to be interested in and they might be searching for, and then ensure that your website is optimized for those search engines in other ways, like we've talked about in prior episodes about your metadata, your images, your alt tags, titles, headers, all these types of things. And you can go back and listen to episode 11 on how to do SEO, and that has a lot of great nuggets for ways to optimize your site.
Hmm. Okay, so as you're building out your long-term strategy for customer acquisition, so this is that sustainable approach, what are a few other options you have?
So expand your network and your community. So that's your personal network and your professional network. So think about attending some in-person networking events if they're available to you. If you're a member of the local chamber of commerce, show up, be seen, talk to people about what you do, become a guest on other people's podcasts if you have a podcast and you're looking to promote it. Sponsor events in your community. If you're a gym, sponsor a local 5K, sponsor a local children's sports team. Like, find opportunities to show up in your local community that allow you to be seen, which can lead to building an engaged email list or social media audience. So the more people that know about you, the more people that follow you, that come to your website, opt in for your newsletter, those are all people that you can potentially market to in the future who like you and are more likely to buy from you.
Yeah, and then you can take over the world because you're big and bad.
Yes, next step, actually number 5 on the list is take over the world. But but truly, the way to get your phone ringing right now is a combination of marketing tactics. And like we say all the time, not everything is going to work. So much of what we do with marketing is experimentation. It's A/B testing. It's saying, I'm going to try this thing for a month and see if it pans out. I'm going to try to run these paid advertisements for 2 weeks and see what kind of leads it starts to bring in. And then I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go over here. So it's all about trying things, finding the right balance for your business. And that is why it's so important to take a holistic, strategic view of what you are doing for your business and ensure that it makes the most sense for where you are looking to go.